Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be analyzing the plot of the novel titled No Longer at Ease, written by Chinua Achebe. Please subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so that when the video on themes and characterization is uploaded, you will get notified. When the No Longer at Ease open, we learn pretty quickly that the character, especially the main character, Obi Okonkwo, is on trial for corruption and bribery. The judge and the audience alike wonder how such a promising young man could have made bad choices. So Obi, whose mother was recently died, whose mother recently died, and whose engagement to Clara has just ended, feel tears spring to his eyes. So the novel then backtrack in time and tell the story of how Obi ended up in such a horrible situation. So we go back to Obi's return to Nigeria from England, where he was receiving an education at a British university. Obi meet Clara on the boat back to Nigeria. They spark up a relationship quickly. The time Obi has gotten a job in the civil service, they are in love. So Obi's return is marked by fanfare. The Umuoha Progressive Union, which gave Obi scholarship. The scholarship is like a loan which Obi will repay to go to school, throw a huge party, and welcomes him back as their local hero. In fact, the expectation is that Obi's repayment of his debt will allow them to send others to school, and his position in the civil government will place the whole region of Umuoha in a position of power within government. Through Obi, they may be able to get jobs. This expectation is seen as part of helping a member of his extended family, and accepting bribe is understood to be a necessary evil. Also, Obi has other plans. He has no desire to play the role of the corrupt civil servant, accepting bribe in order to help others achieve their dreams of getting scholarship or getting jobs. So it is at this point that we begin to see how Obi differentiates himself from his kinsmen. He believes that African culture will necessarily succumb to the superior cultural ideas, values, and systems of the Europe and the West. So this isolates Obi from his kinsmen and also his family. Obi begins to pay a monthly sum to the Umuoha Progressive Union to pay back his school loan, and he begins to send his parents a monthly sum of money, as well as pay for his brother's school fees and his mother's hospital fees when she is sick. Soon enough, Obi's finances are stretched beyond their capacity. It is partly that Obi doesn't plan well, but it is also partly that in addition to meeting all the duties to the union and to his family, he is expected to live a lifestyle becoming to his social status and the government position. Soon, Obi finds he doesn't have enough money to keep up. First, he buys Clara's engagement ring after she admits that she is Osu, and so he will never be able to marry her. It is forbidden in Igbo culture to marry an Osu, since the Osu class is dedicated to a particular god. So, Obi gives Clara an engagement ring and then consider that they are engaged. Then after he turns down Mr. Mark's offer of money to make sure Mr. Mark's sister Essie appears before the scholarship board, and then turns down Essie's offer to sleep with him for the same favor, Obi discovered that he needs £40 to pay for his car insurance. He hadn't even realized that there was an annual car insurance fee. So he goes to get a bank loan of £50 That night, Clara gets mad because Obi never asks for her help. The next day, Clara sends Obi £50 and tells him to go pay the bank back. Obi doesn't think of paying the money back. Obi doesn't really want to give back the loan from Clara. The two make up and go dance. That is Obi and Clara. It turns out that luck is not just with Obi. Obi's friend Joseph will say he is challenged his personal god, his chi, to a wrestling match, and that is something you should never ever do unless you want to lose. That is what Joseph told Obi. So while they are dancing, somebody entered the unlocked car of Obi and steal Clara's £50. So Obi owes Clara £50 and still owes the bank £50. To top it off, his mother becomes so ill that she has to go to the hospital. Since Obi's parents live on the money Obi sent them, it is obvious who will be responsible for the hospital bill, which is Obi. And also, his father has indicated that there is something serious he wants to discuss with Obi. So realize that Obi discovered that the father have gotten the news that he is engaged to Clara, the Osu lady. So Obi takes 2 weeks leave from his job. The job pays him £55 for his leave. And Obi decides to pay for his brother's school fees out of that money, realizing that if he doesn't pay it now, when he has the money, he won't be able to pay it when the school fees is due. So at home, Obi's parents confront him about his engagement to Clara. Though Obi's parents raised him as Christian, and though they shun many aspects of Igbo cultures up to that point, now his father simply insists he cannot marry Clara because Clara is Osu. He says that though Christians must give up part of their indigenous culture and believe when they convert, this is not one of those things. It runs too deep in Igbo culture to marry an Osu. And now the parent of Obi insists that he must not marry Clara. So the reality is that Clara and her family are taboo. If Obi marries her and has children, what will happen to those children socially and culturally? So Obi may feel that the time is ripe to end certain cultural customs, but he has failed to understand how some traditions are so important to people that they cannot change overnight. So Obi may feel isolated from his culture and kismet due to his education and his social status, but he is surrounded. He can't escape his culture, the judgment of his people, or their expectation. And worst of it all, Obi's mother tells him that if he marries Clara while she is still alive, she will commit suicide. And that is a very, very dangerous statement. So Obi returns to Lagos in an agitated state of mind. And when Obi returned to Lagos, who want to be responsible for the death of the mother? No, Obi doesn't want to be responsible for her mother's death. So he tells Clara that they must lay low now. But Clara understands what he isn't saying, that his parents will never accept their relationship. So she breaks up with Obi. That is when Obi discovered that Clara is pregnant. So now he decided that he has to borrow money to pay for an abortion. So when Clara is hospitalized due to an infection from the abortion procedure, Obi realized that he has made a mistake. He sent Clara a letter and begged her to come back to him. But it is too late. Clara returned his letter unopened, did not even open it at all. And she leaves Lagos soon after she was discharged from the hospital. So then Obi's mother died, and Obi sent all the money he can to pay for her funeral. But Obi stays in Lagos and doesn't go home for the funeral. So, with Clara gone and his mother also have gone, Obi sink into a deep depression. He begins to let go of his former convictions. Apparently, it was Clara who kept Obi on the straight and narrow all along. Deeply in debt, now Obi has been borrowing money, currently in debt, with no one to keep him steady, and mourning his mother's death. Obi forsake all his lofty principles and begin to accept bribe, left and right. But he does maintain a certain semblance of principle. He refuses to accept bribe from people who don't have the minimum qualification to appear before the scholarship board. So because he only accepts bribe from people who are going to appear before the board anyway, he gets a reputation for following through on his bribe. At last, Obi accepted a bribe which Obi believed, or Obi made up his mind that was his last bribe. But unfortunately for Obi, that bribe was a form of sting operation. And Obi was caught up in the web of corruption and arrested and put on trial, and the court found him guilty of bribery and corruption. Obi was sentenced to a term of imprisonment. So we could see how frustration and also the prevailing corrupt practices in the civil service have forced Obi Okonkwo to also leave his lofty principles of not accepting bribery, and he took bribe, and he even collected bribe more. He continued collecting bribe until he was found and charged before a competent court and found guilty of corruption and receiving bribes. So in our subsequent video, we are going to be discussing the major themes in the novel and also the role that each character play. Now you have a lot of characters. You have Joseph, you have Obi Okonkwo, you have Clara, you have Obi's father, Obi's mother, and even the doctor and several others. So we are going to be discussing the role each one of them play in our subsequent lesson. Make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so that you get notified. Thank you and have a great day.